Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. It is a beautiful Monday morning, 16 minutes past 8, and it's time to take a walk into the locker room and talk about all the sports news that have been making the rounds this past weekend. So many things to sink our teeth into, so many updates, and of course, a lot of banter to go around. Not looking forward to that one, but hey, the game is the game at the end of the day. You're most welcome along on this journey and joining me to break it all down. And of course, let me know and always remind me that my team is the one that lost this weekend. Tega, good morning to you. Welcome to the locker room.
Good morning. How are you doing? Are you okay?
I'm
Is
okay.
all is
No,
all well at home?
all is not well because fuel is still not accessible. That's it really. That's it. Any other thing, I'm fine.
Oh, okay. I just
Yeah.
wanted to greet you because it's been a tough weekend. You understand? Very
Ah,
tough.
tough for those who it's
A,
tough for.
a threefold ministry. It's not
Mm-mm,
easy.
mm, mm.
All right, good morning, everybody. Manchester United fans will be opening the phone lines because, as usual, this is your therapy session, and you have every opportunity to speak your mind. If you're a Chelsea fan, one win, and you're already tweeting at Mikel Obi. In his time, he was winning back to back. Every play, every weekend was a hit. So we'll be talking about the Chelsea game. I think we may skip over the Arsenal game, but we'll touch on it a little bit. We'll also talk about what's happening at the US Open. Defending champion out. My goodness. So
Mm.
we'll touch on that. We'll also talk about what's happening with I just wanted to mention that the Nigeria under 20 team won their match early hours of this morning
That's
against
good stuff.
Colombia.
Good stuff.
Um good goal. They won it by a goal in the 86th minute. Now, the girl will tell you that she meant to score that kind of goal. But I think she was trying to cross the ball and it sneaked under the bar. But a goal is a goal. We take it.
A goal is a
And we
goal,
take the win.
though.
All right. So that was good news this morning. Then we'll also talk about what happened over the weekend. Remember, Ayo, we're talking about this thing. If the pen has not been put to paper,
Mm.
should you be announcing it?
Hmm. Tega, you said this thing. Oh. You said it though,
Should you be
right here.
announcing it? Can you be washing a car that you have not paid for?
I mean, even a kangaroo wouldn't have jumped that high.
Do you understand? So we'll
Really?
talk about the NFF and the fact that we are playing AFCON qualifiers this week, and they are bringing us a different coach. So we'll talk on all those matters this morning. Remember, I'm this time wanting to be interactive. In fact, I'm not going to analyze today. We'll just be opening the phone lines every 2 seconds. All right. So the numbers to send your messages to are Ayo.
The numbers are 0809 444 981. That's the WhatsApp number, 0809 444 981. And the studio line to give us a call on is 0201 4489981. 0201 4489981. The locker room brought to you by Visa this beautiful Monday morning. Just to clue into some of the major stories.
No
Um,
need to clue in. Let's just jump into the stories as we
okay,
go,
okay, as we
as it
go. All
is.
right. As it is hot. I'm thinking of rice. Anyways, talking about Nigerian football, the Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) has announced that Augustine Eguavoen, a former player and technical director of the Super Eagles, will step in as the head coach for the team's 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers against Benin Republic and Rwanda. Now, this decision comes in the wake of German coach Bruno Labbadia's unexpected withdrawal from the role.
All right. So the first thing I will tell you is that I just want to remind you that Augustine Eguavoen was the coach in charge when we didn't make it to the World Cup. Not that that's an indictment, it's just information. Do you understand? As a journalist, I have to give you all this information. All right. So, so
Thank you for
the
that.
first, so the first thing is, it's pretty interesting. I remember when we were talking about the announcement. I know they announced it everywhere. The NFF, they were looking for a win. You know,
Mm,
1 minute they were speaking with Anderson, it didn't work out. Harry Verena didn't work out. So the first person that looked like he was going to work out, they quickly announced when they hadn't completed everything. And I remember saying, a pen has not been put to paper yet, too, but since they've announced, maybe, they have agreed on everything. Turns out that it was a horrible show. And the reports did not come in from Nigeria initially. The reports came in from Germany. And German people were already reporting that Labbadia is not taking the Super Eagles job. And then Nigerian journalists were like, huh? Job that we all announced. And so everybody started digging in. Turns out that he had agreed that, you know what, I'm going to take this job. And the NFF just rushed to announce it. I agreed to change job pending when we signed this contract. Ideally, you don't say anything until you sign a contract. And you
Right.
even show pictures of the contract signing. But the NFF rushed to announce it because, like I said, they were looking for a win. The qualifiers were just a few weeks away. Well, at the time it was about 10 or 12 days away, and they needed to announce something that made them look like progress. Turns out that Labbadia was saying, you know, in the negotiations, he taking the job in Nigeria meant that, of course, he was going to be paying his taxes, and he will not just pay taxes in Nigeria because he's working here. He'll also be paying taxes in Germany. And you know that if you don't pay your taxes in Germany, you can go to jail. They don't play with their taxes. And so he was saying that if you're going to pay me a certain amount of money, then who is going to sort out my taxes? Because I'm taking this fee based on the fact that somebody should be able to sort out the taxes. Ideally,
Right.
if Nigeria were a functioning country, like an expatriate, when you hire him, you're supposed to give him a car, a house to stay in Nigeria, so that he can conduct his business very well. But we don't have all these other provisions that make life and the job worth taking. And now you want him to pay taxes in two places with a small salary. It was a bit too much. And so he even alluded to the fact that some people wanted him to be paying a particular percentage. That one is unconfirmed rumors, not entirely true. But so there were all other issues surrounding it, and he was like, you know what, I'm not even taking this job, and he he dumps Nigeria. So Nigeria has no choice than to come back inward, which is what we have been telling them since morning. You don't have money for expatriates.
Right.
Just hire from within. That's what we've been telling them since they've disrespected Finidi. Because it was disrespect that they gave to Finidi. You hire Finidi, then you now say we are going to hire a foreign coach so that Finidi will be answering to the foreign coach. What kind of insult is that? So now you've been disgraced. It's such a terrible thing, but ultimately, let's just all face the work we're supposed to do. At the end of the day, we have to look forward, and the looking forward is to what we're going to be able to do when we play in Uyo in a couple of days in the qualifier, and then when we go to Rwanda. It's important to get the result on the pitch. That result on the pitch will alleviate every disgrace, embarrassment, and heartbreak that we've gotten so far this week.
Hmm. It's such a sad state of affairs in Nigerian football. And Tega, I know you alluded to certain allegations that we don't know the veracity of. But I mean if there was something there, I definitely would not doubt it based on
Oh
antecedents. But
yes, we
anyway,
will definitely not doubt it. Yeah, let's
hmm,
just
let's just move on to some Formula One right here. And of course, Charles Leclerc pulled off an extraordinary home win for Ferrari at the Italian Grand Prix ahead of the McLarens of Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris as well. Now, Ferrari chose a
oh,
one-stop strategy for Leclerc, improvising mid-race to vault him in front of McLarens.
all right. So so here's what happened. At the start of the race, everybody was questioning whether it was plan A, which was one stop, or plan B, which was two stops. As they were going along the way, they started looking at tire degradation, tire wouldn't last, they were losing pace, all of that. And so it started becoming a question of who could undercut whom. And so cars and constructors were making all these decisions. I remember that the McLaren drivers were asked by their engineer, can they pull off a one-stop race? Lando Norris was already saying, no, I can't pull off a one-stop race. You have to remember, Lando Norris started in pole position and
Hmm.
dropped to third. In fact, he dropped to fourth and then climbed his way back to third. And so it was such a struggle for him. And so he was complaining that he's already losing pace, that he's behind everybody. They needed to change the car. So they went to a two-stop strategy. They asked Piastri to, he said, a two-stop strategy. Mercedes was doing their own two-stop strategy. Red Bull
Okay.
was also doing their own two-stop strategy. I just noticed that all the while we're talking about how um, other people who undercut themselves. But there was silence from the Ferrari side. You see, discretion is important. This is why you shouldn't be cho everywhere. Discretion is important. Everybody was talking over the radio. Two-stop strategy. When should I come in? When was I released? When should I go out? There was silence from Ferrari. We didn't hear any noise. Then we now noticed that because they hadn't done the two-stop strategy, both their cars were in number one position, number two position. And then the commentators now said, wait a minute. When Oscar Piastri comes out of this race, he will be behind two Ferrari cars. The question is, can the Ferraris pull off a one-stop strategy? This is what we now started discussing. Ferrari did not say a single word. There was no, Charles Leclerc said, let's just see how plan B works. And they left it. They didn't say anything again. Only for 12 laps to the end of the race, we started believing that these people are going to pull off the one-stop strategy. Unfortunately for Carlos Sainz, he didn't have fresh air in front of him, so his tires were really bad. And so Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris were able to overtake him. But Charles Leclerc was the guy in front, and clean air is king in Formula One. So he was able to protect his tires for so long that by the time the McLarens, started to hunt him down, their own tires started to wear off as quickly as his own tires were wearing off. So that thing that they say, if a masquerade is chasing you, as you're getting tired, the masquerade is getting tired. That's exactly what was happening to them. As they were chasing Charles Leclerc down, as his tires were degrading, so were their tires. So they couldn't even catch up to him, not talk of overtake him. And at the end of the day, they won a race that they were supposed to finish at best, third and fourth position. So fantastic strategy by Ferrari. They pulled it off mid-race, by the way. It's not what they planned from the start. But for McLaren, again, and especially for Lando Norris, it just shows that having a great Saturday does not guarantee having a great Sunday.
Wisdom right there, Tega. I love that. Absolutely amazing stuff. Oh my goodness. And hey, it's not looking good right now for Red Bull. I mean, all the talk in the last couple of months was about Max Verstappen, this and that, McLaren, Red Bull, and so on and so forth. I mean, McLaren, he ended up finishing sixth or thereabouts, and it's really not looking good for them.
Yeah, I told you, should have fired Christian Horner. Should really have, because as soon as they let Marcus Helmut go, everything started falling apart at the seams. You will know that at the end of the day, it's not the man that is sitting at the office that guarantees that a factory sells. It's the factory workers that determine whether a product is successful or not.
Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. Let's quickly talk about some tennis here. And Grigor Dimitrov reached the US Open quarterfinals for the first time since 2019 with a 5-set victory over Andrei Rublev, whose angry outburst threatened to mar an enthralling match in New York.
Oh, yes. Oh, for Andrei Rublev, he always does that. Once he's playing poorly, he starts to beat himself, beat the court, beat everybody beatable. Outbursts these days are his thing. And I do remember he said he's going to learn to be better on court and conduct himself better. That's what he said 3 tournaments ago. Last night, he was at it again. So we cannot believe him. So on the men's side, especially after Carlos Alcaraz was knocked out unceremoniously and Djokovic was knocked out shockingly. By the way, the person that conquered Djokovic yesterday, he lost last early hours of this morning to Francis Tiafoe.
What is going on?
Oh, yeah. So I guess when you expend your energy to beat Novak Djokovic, there's not enough left in the tank. But yeah, Poprin was knocked out shockingly early hours of this morning, and his serves were not as good. So I don't want to say he was fatigued as much as he didn't play his tennis. He didn't play as well last night as he did against Novak Djokovic, but sometimes the opposition counts. So on the men's side, it's going to be interesting to see who is going to win the US Open, because the usual suspects, most of the usual suspects have fallen off the wayside. The only guys there now that have any Grand Slam, on their resume, Medvedev and Yannick Sinner. So let's see how both of them survive the rest. In the women's draw, Emma Navarro knocked out Coco Gauff. And that one was not a surprise. What was shocking about Coco Gauff was that she had 19 double faults. Do you know how bad you have to be serving?
She was clearly off her
To
game.
be served,
I mean,
to be no, she has been struggling with her serves all year. And I think part of the problem was when she was working with Pereriba, the coach that is now the coach of Chingwen Zheng. He was working on her serves and she started serving better. In fact, she went through the American swing. Remember, she won a 500 tournament, then she won a 1,000 Masters before she now won the US Open. She was with Pereriba on that time and he was working on her serves. Then she now gave all the credit to Brad Gilbert, and Pereriba found his way to go and coach somebody else. And she's been struggling with that serve since. I wasn't surprised she lost to Emma Navarro. Emma Navarro beat her at Wimbledon. And Emma Navarro is as athletic, as quick as Coco Gauff. The only thing that could have helped Coco Gauff to topple Emma Navarro on the ninth was if she served better, and she hasn't been serving better all tournament. So I wasn't surprised about it. I was just surprised about at the amount of double faults. So it's something that she really needs to look at and maybe get a coach specifically for herself. Not Andy Roddick. Andy Roddick is a former player who had a great serve. But you need a coach who would study your serve and tell you how to make it better. And that's what she needs.
That's definitely what she needs. And what we need is to talk more about what's going on in the world of sports. But before we do that, we'll take a quick breather when we come back in. It's all about Erik ten Hag saying that he's not off to Hogwarts, as it's not Harry Potter. That and a whole lot more coming your way on The Locker Room right here on Smooth 98.1. Don't go anywhere.
All right. So when we come back, I'll just quickly do the visa thing and then we'll run through the stories.
Okay.
We'll open the phone lines for Manchester United and let's see where it takes us from there. Don't collapse. You'll be all right.
I don't tire for that thing, matter. It's spiritual.
Till you bring another coach with and you'll find out that it's not necessarily spiritual. For me, I just think that he's starting the wrong guys. There is a place for form and there is a place for experience. And I understand when you are facing a big team like Liverpool, you want to go for experience. But sometimes form is the best thing to do.
His approach. I mean, that team looks very poorly coached.
I'm sorry. It is poorly coached.
Deep breaths. We're still in the locker room this beautiful Monday morning, brought to you by Visa. This is Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life on a Monday morning. My name is Ayokunmi Kekireko, and of course, Tega is also with me on this journey as we've been talking sports all through. You can also join us to talk about the sports news, and of course, get your comments in, get your thoughts in. WhatsApp is available 0809 440 981. 0809 440 981 is the WhatsApp number. The studio line is 0201 4489 981. 0201 4489 981. Let's hold on to that. We'll be opening the phone lines pretty soon. But let's get back into the gist, Tega. Now, it's all about.
All right. Before we get into any gist, let's talk about sponsors, Visa. So remember, Visa is on the global stage championing inclusivity and culture. As you know, the Paralympics are on. Nigeria just came very close to getting to the gold medal match, and the badminton player now lost, but she's going to play in the bronze medal match. So hopefully, we're still keeping our fingers crossed for the medals. Finger crossed for the medals. But Visa is on the global stage championing inclusivity and culture. Remember, Visa are the official payment technology partners of the Paralympics, and they have all these amazing great benefits that they have to give on their website. All you need to do is check on visa.com.ng. So remember, visa.com.ng. and check out all the amazing benefits that they have. Some percentages off flight tickets, some percentages of hotel bookings, and some percentages of experiences across Europe. So just go on that website, find out what benefits are available to you, and maybe join into one or two of the campaigns they have there. They had one campaign during the Olympics, and they actually had winners that they took to the Olympics, and it was to spend with your Visa dollar card and get an all-expense paid trip to the Olympics. We may, before the end of this campaign, we may be talking to one or two of the beneficiaries of that campaign. But yeah, go to visa.com.ng and see what is available to you, because they have all these wonderful gifts and wonderful benefits. All right.
Sounds absolutely wonderful, I have to add. Okay, back into the conversation. Now, Manchester United manager Erik ten Hag says that he's not Harry Potter and is adamant his side have a great chance to lift the trophy this season, despite their chastening 3-0 home defeat by Liverpool. This man seems to be tone deaf because...
I like the fact that he says he's not Harry Potter. Are you serious? But at least you're a manager. They're not asking you to do miracles. They're just asking you to manage the team. Even that, they're not doing well. Nobody's asking for miracles here. Just start with the right starting 11. For instance, I think we should open the phone lines for this one. What's your take on Marcus Rashford starting every single match? All right. The numbers to send your messages, or the numbers to share your thoughts on Manchester United are, Ayo?
0201 4489 981. 0201 4489 981. If you're having trouble getting through on the studio line, you can also call the WhatsApp line 0809 440 981. So you have two ways to actually get across. If one way is giving you trouble, the other line is available to share your thoughts this morning.
Because I know a lot of people will be saying, oh, but Casemiro made a lot of mistakes and he caused goals. Like I was telling you earlier, Ayo, when Casemiro lost the ball, it shouldn't. People make mistakes all the time. So when Casemiro lost the ball, why did he lose the ball and it went straight into the back of the net? It means that there were other people that were supposed to do work that were not doing work. So, so as much as Casemiro was a standout, I mean, his errors were obvious. Let's look at all the other players around him. Casemiro was not going to be the one to score goals, number one. And Manchester United created one or two chances where they could have gotten goals from. Casemiro was also not the one that was going to do all of the defending, number two. And so at the end of the day, as much as you want to blame Casemiro, please, today is not Casemiro slaughterhouse. Tell us your thoughts on the match. All right, Ayo has given me a number. Ayo, let's take some of the messages I've already said.
All right, let's head into WhatsApp and take some messages. A couple have already come in here. This is from Max from Momolia. He says, congrats to slot the machine. Great game of football by Liverpool. Manchester United didn't really know what hit them. Erik ten Hag has his work cut out for him if he's going to take this team anywhere. It's early days, though, but we'll see. But overall, a fantastic game by Liverpool. 3 wins and 3 clean sheets. Early days. It's his third season, Max. Third season. Let's call it spade a spade. This is AY from Inero says, after yesterday's disaster class, I've come to the conclusion that Eric Ben-10 isn't the right fit to coach a club like Manchester United. I'd also like to add that I'm very disappointed in Marcus Rashford. Right, Rashford that Tega just actually alluded to a couple of minutes ago.
So I don't know what that boy is doing. Sorry, he's not a boy, he's a man.
He's a man at this point. This one says, Augustine Eguavoen again, I respect your legends now. Come on. He has been doing us bad since time Imo World Cup US 94, 2022 World Cup qualifiers. In fact, Tegs can do better. Really, Tega, he's throwing your name in the ring for the job.
I can do better, but they have to give me a house, a car, you understand? And they have to pay my salary on time. I'm not even asking for taxes. Taxes is fine. If they can pay my salary on time, I take care of the rest.
I'm telling you. Charles Fusey says, Ayo, you're dropping bars this morning. Even a kangaroo can't jump that high. I mean, really, Charles, think about it. Meanwhile, when men slept, NFF were busy doing rubbish. At last, they'll eventually settle for Amunike, and hopefully they give our local coaches the respect they deserve. They settle for Eguavoen, so there's that. And Tayo says, not looking forward to this message. Tayo says, after all the shakara with appointing foreign coaches, we now have to settle for local talent. Like Caesar, I've washed my hands off Nigerian football. Clearly, NFF have no direction. And Man United is officially the property of Mo Salah, and Diaz wants to inherit it. If Ten Hag were in Harry Potter, he'd still flop. Ouch. I want to talk about Nicholas Jackson, but
The
I'm
magic
worried.
wand will work.
He says, I want to talk about Nicholas Jackson, but I'm worried about what he posts about me. He scored another goal now. Calm down. He scored another goal.
I
Let's
missed
calm
another
down.
clear one.
He scored. Mikhail said he scored. He scored. That's the important
All right,
thing.
so let's take your messages. We're still taking your messages on Manchester United. Could you give them the numbers again, Ayo, and then we'll go to the next story, see what we can do there.
It is 0201 4489 981. There are a couple of messages on YouTube, actually, Tega.
Okay, let's take those ones. Let's take those
Okay,
ones.
Ion Fedada says Manchester United with another L. I don't feel hurt. Radio Guide Lagos, good morning to you too. Thanks for tuning in. Uchenna Nwokoye says Manchester United got a humbling experience. 3 new players started with Rashford, who should not be starting games, plus schoolboy errors in midfield against a well-oiled Liverpool team. Thank you for that. Lucas Togan says it's obvious Rashford is dating Ten Hag because nothing you can say to convince me they are not romantically involved. Oh my goodness. Thank you for your thoughts there. Let's get back into the stories. Oh my goodness. Let's talk.
All right.
Let's talk Real Madrid.
Let's talk Real Madrid.
At this point, Kylian Mbappe answered his critics in style as he netted his first La Liga goals to give Real Madrid a 2-0 win over Real Betis at the Santiago Bernabeu on Sunday, which sends them second in the table.
All right. Mbappe account is officially open. Now, whether it's savings account or current account, we don't know. But as of yesterday, he has opened an account. And it was still a struggle. I'd like to remind Real Madrid fans and a lot of people that watch Real Madrid. Remember that last season, even if they won the league, there were too many matches where they played like this. Football that they struggled to score goals and eventually won. So I think people forget that. People just remember the results. Oh, they won the La Liga. Oh, they won the Champions League. And therefore, they shouldn't be playing like this. But Madrid has not. I mean, a lot of matches last season for Real Madrid were like this. So I don't know why you're surprised. I think the surprise is the fact that, when you buy players like Kylian Mbappe and you already have Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo and Jude Bellingham, you always want to see goals. Even if Jude Bellingham is injured, you always want to see goals. But Real Madrid generally play like this. I've said it before and I stick to it. I know Carlo Ancelotti has won a few league titles. But for me, I mean, I knew him since AC Milan. He'd always been a cup competition coach. For me, I mean, he spent at least 15 seasons in 15, yeah, or 11 seasons, one of the two, either 11 or 15 seasons, but it was over a decade he spent at Milan. And I knew him largely for cup competitions as opposed to league titles. And so when people talk about Ancelotti in the league, he's not supposed to be excitable. Even when he wins leagues for you, you will have matches that were like this, where they struggle and then they eventually win. So, but the good news for Kylian Mbappe, the monkey off his back, is that he has scored goals, and he scored 2 for that matter. 1 penalty and 1 from open play through a brilliant back pass by Valverde.
Amazing stuff there for Kylian Mbappe, and hopefully he will, should I say, build on that, because the pressure for playing at Madrid, it's not small pressure.
It's a lot, and to make matters worse, Hansi Flick's academy, they are playing brilliant football. I think they scored 6 or 7 goals over the weekend.
7 goals.
7 goals over the weekend. So you have to perform.
Definitely. All right, we need to round up with some more messages. Time has absolutely flown by here. Let me take this one from, I think this is Emeka. Emeka says, Chris Kavanagh said he sent off Declan Rice because he was only applying the letter of the law. Where was the letter of the law when João Pedro kicked the ball 50 yards away after the ball went out of play in the first half? The highest earning league in the world with the worst officials. Their inconsistencies can drive anyone nuts. As for United fans, they should look at the bigger picture. At least they didn't collect 7 goals like they did a couple of seasons ago.
Abby, progress is progress.
That's very reassuring, Emeka. Thank you so much. Ridwan says, Real Madrid, despite winning yesterday, struggled. Kylian Mugabe finally opening his account might be a start of good things for him. Wonderful seventh heaven display from my beloved Barcelona. And DG says, please, what is Osimhen's future? He's staying at Napoli and not playing football. So,
Well, let me just say, no, let me say he's at Naples. Don't say he's at Napoli. He's at
okay,
Naples
okay, in
in
the
the
city of
town.
Naples.
He's in
Okay,
the city of
okay,
Naples.
that is
Don't say he's
fair.
at Napoli. He wasn't registered to play, at least so
Tyler,
far.
Tyler says Ancelotti is gradually raising his eyebrow, and former PSG director of football has opened his account with our brand sponsor. And Mohammed, always a pleasure reading your messages. He says, you journalists are a problem, always calling for sacks of professionals in their field, as you could do better, as if you could do better when you guys can't even fix a tire. All you have is rumors since the emails haven't been made public, and you woke society want to cancel him. That's the Red Bull boss. Always delightful, Mohammed. Always delightful.
Always that. Mohammed, I just want to say I'm not the woke society. However, should be fired. it
And
made it, it made more sense because you can see the results. Ever since Helmut left, Red Bull has not won a race.
let me just take some on YouTube as we get out of the studio. This is Uche Nwoko. It says, let's stop microanalyzing Ten Hag. Patience is needed for the team to integrate properly. We learn and we move. Sport my weekend and new week. We've been waiting for 3 years. Radio Guide Lagos says, hi, Tega. We love your sport gist. Thank you for that. Abiodo Bisheson says, Eguavoen again. Now for Nigeria. This season film go choke. Loving the Vinny Jr. team spirit yesterday. Hansi Flick is the man of the moment. 7-star performance from Barcelona. And on that note, Tega, we need to call it a day on the locker room.
Yeah, we
Thank you
need to
so
call
much
it a
as
day on the
always.
locker room. Yes, thank you so much for sending in your messages to YouTube. Thank you for sending your messages to WhatsApp. Thank you for streaming and listening to Smooth 98.1 FM live. All right, till I come your way again on Wednesday. And this time we'll be talking about what is happening in New because we have to go to Morocco in 2025.
Indeed,
Till
we
I come
do.
your way again on Wednesday, it's bye from now.
All right. Thank you so much, Tega. And of course, thank you all for being a part of the discussion this morning. Keep it tuned. We're going to get into some discussions at 9 o'clock on Lagos Talks right here, Smooth 98.1.